Hi folks, in this video we're going to have a look at making some homemade rifle, shotgun, and pistol bore cleaner. Many of you may be familiar with this cleaner. It's been widely disseminated on the internet and it's called Ed's Red. And Ed's Red is the invention of Mr. C.E. Ed Harris, and Ed Harris worked for the National Rifle Association as well as Ruger Firearms in the past, and Ed created this concoction as a modern replacement for the Frankfurt Arsenal number 18 bore cleaner. Now, bore cleaner in the commonly available sizes, such as this 2-ounce container of hops number 9, is a pretty expensive commodity if you use a lot of it. And of course, good firearms maintenance is dependent upon frequent and thorough cleaning, and the proper and liberal application of solvent is a big help when it comes to keeping your firearms in tip-top shape. So having cheap and plentiful bore cleaner is a real asset to the firearms enthusiast of any sort. And we'll have a look here at how to make some Ed's Red up. And Ed's Red is made up out of primarily 4 components. Now the first one, which gives it its name of red, is automatic transmission fluid. And what you're looking for is Dextron 3 or Dextron 2 type automatic transmission fluid. So that's one of the components. Another component of the cleaner is acetone. You can find this in any paint supply area, hardware store. Next item you'll need is Varsol, and this is commonly in the paint supply area as well, also used for cleaning automotive parts. And the final component that we require is kerosene, and this is a deodorized type sulfur-free kerosene. Now you don't want to use pump grade kerosene because it can have a lot of acid in it, so basically you want to use kerosene which is suitable for indoor use, such as lamps or space heaters, that type of thing. Now, if you have to run out and buy all of these things individually, it can get kind of expensive. But if you're like most of us, you probably already have most of these things kicking around your shop or your garage. The recipe is very, very simple. In fact, it's equal parts by volume of each of these items. And an easy and kind of a convenient way to measure them is just to use an old mason jar. Now, this particular type of mason jar actually has graduations on the side in liquid ounces, and that is what I'm going to mix up. I'm going to mix basically 4 ounces of each type of liquid together, and then when we're finished we're going to have our Ed's Red's bore cleaner. So we'll get started by adding the automatic transmission fluid, and I'll pan down to the container here a little bit so we can see what's going on, hopefully a little better. Got a new camera here, so bear with me if my camera operation is less than perfect. So we'll add 4 ounces of ATF, and that does not stand for alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. Okay, so there we go. We got 4 ounces of transmission fluid, and we'll add 4 ounces of Varsol. And you can make this up with in any quantity you desire. Some people make small batches. Some people make really big batches. You'll find out that this will last you quite a while if you make this quantity. You'll probably be using it for a year or 2, depending on how much you shoot, or maybe 10 years. And now we'll add our acetone. If I can get the top off this thing. To bear with me for a second. Screwdriver. And we'll add 4 ounces of acetone. And the acetone really helps break up any plastic fouling and powder fouling. Be aware though that if you're using this in a confined space, that it does create fumes. Pretty much any bore cleaner is going to create some fumes, which you have to worry about. So, and last but not least, we'll put in the kerosene, if I can do that without blocking the camera view. And And there we go. And that's it. The only thing to remember from this stage on is that the acetone will eat the seal out of any of the mason jar lids. So I would recommend putting a piece of tin foil over the top, screwing the mason jar lid over that. You can also rebottle this in smaller size containers. Further to safety, you're going to want to go ahead and make up a label and label this stuff as hazardous. You don't want any kid coming along thinking that looks like Kool-Aid I could have a drink out of. So be sure to label it. If you look up some directions online for making this stuff, Ed provides a template for a warning label, and it would be a good idea to print that template off and put it on this concoction so that nobody confuses it with something else, especially since it's in a food container. That is the downside to using this kind of a container. Another container which is suitable for storing this stuff are the old metal gunpowder cans. Winchester powder used to come in a metal can. Those are quite good as well. They're a little less likely to be confused with a food item. Also, the other downside to glass containers is, of course, that they're fragile. If you drop this thing, it's going to smash, and the acetone that's in this, if you get it on your carpet, will probably melt your carpet. So there's some things to think of. You might want to store it in something other than a mason jar, but the mason jar is a very convenient way to mix it up without contaminating anything that you might use for food. Again, you can just throw the mason jar away after you're finished using it for Ed's Red. But anyway, I've been using this stuff for about 10 years, and it's really great for shotgun bore cleaning, rifle bore cleaning, pistol bores. It doesn't do a great job of removing copper fouling, but you can use your sweets or different brands of copper cutting specific solvent for that job. And this will actually reduce the fouling in your barrel enough that the issue of copper fouling won't be as significant as it was before. So anyway, hopefully you find that of some help, and if you mix up a batch, give it a try. It doesn't cost much if you've got most of the gear around here, most of the ingredients around. So hopefully if you mix a batch up, you find it to be of some use. So take care. We'll talk to you later.